Hello, everyone, and welcome to a love letter to my 20s. My name is Ariana. I am a nobody, so you're not going to know me from anywhere. I'm 22 years old, and I had this great idea to start a podcast because I'm very impulsive, which we're going to get into. But something that I've noticed in my life is that I don't know if this is like an only child thing. I'll go into my car and I'll just talk to myself. And I've been doing this a lot recently. It's so weird. I don't know if anyone else does this. I hope that people do it. It's kind of like shower thoughts, but just all the time. Whenever I have like some realization about life, I just sit and I act as if I'm on a podcast and I'll just talk about it to myself. I have been doing this for a while and I actually used to do these video diaries and I have so many in my camera roll. I never let people go through my camera roll because it's very embarrassing. I have these like video diaries that I would do and I would just talk to myself on video for like 10 minutes and just talk about life and talk about things that have been going on in my life. I also got into journaling to do this because I feel like journaling is like a whole different form on its own. But I also want to talk about that in an episode as well. But yeah, I am someone that I feel like I have a lot to say and I don't really have that many people to say it to. Not saying that I don't have friends. I feel like I have a good amount of friends. But I feel like no one really wants to hear all of my thoughts because they'd probably think I was a crazy person. It's just a long time coming that I started a podcast. Kind of just made sense for me. So, speaking of what I mentioned earlier, impulsiveness, I'm a very impulsive person. So, it's funny because when I was learning about Sagittariuses, because I was born in December, I'm a Sagittarius. So, if you're a Sagittarius, we are one. But basically, I learned that they are one of their big traits is that they're hard to commit to things. And my whole life growing up, I was like, that's not me because I'm very good with my friendships. I feel like I'm good with my relationships. And so I was like, that just makes no sense to me because I feel like I'm a very committed person. And then I started a business. I have a clothing brand and it's called Project U. I have rebranded probably 10 times because once I have an idea, I just kind of take it and run with it. And sometimes it does come to my advantage, but sometimes it's just very overwhelming when I act upon things. But even though I feel like I kind of just have an idea, I take it and I run with it, I don't regret anything that I do. And so this comes to my first topic. I have my notebook right here. You can see it in the YouTube video. But basically, my notebook is an outline for all my episodes because I get very off topic and I start rambling on and on about random stuff. So, we're going to make sure that we don't do that as much in these episodes. I can't promise that I'm not going to ramble off sometimes, but we have this notebook to keep us on track. So, my first topic that I want to talk about is the advice that I give to a lot of people because I have so many people that come up to me and they're like, I want to start a clothing brand or I want to start a business or maybe no one has asked me, but if someone does, I'm going to give them this advice. If someone were to say, I want to start a podcast, my main advice and my life hack is once you have something that you want to do, just do it and then you can fix course along the way. This is something that I didn't even do intentionally. Like I said, I'm just impulsive. So I've been doing this for my whole life, but it works. It really does because the thing is if you have something that you really want to do, like you really want to start, but you're nervous about it or you want to make sure that you're planning everything down to detail, you start getting into this habit where you just push things aside because you want them to be perfect and then they never happen. So that is something that I did with this podcast. I would have started this podcast a week ago when I had the idea. The day that I had the idea, I was like, yep, I'm doing it because if I sat here and planned everything out, I probably wouldn't have done it. The day that I was like, I want to start a podcast, I opened up an account with Spotify and I got a hosting account and I bought a microphone because I already had a camera. If this microphone didn't take a week to come in, this podcast would have aired a week ago, because once I have an idea, I take it and I run with it and we go with it, and we're going to fix course a long way. And then I actually had this week to think about it, and I was like bugging myself out thinking of episodes, and I'm thinking, oh my God, people aren't going to like this. Like, this isn't a good idea. Maybe I should change the name. I came up with a name in 2 seconds. I'm not even going to lie. I came up with Project You, which is my clothing company. I came up with that name in about like 30 minutes. My mind just scrambles on, and then I come up with something, and that's it. I came up with this podcast name in about 2 seconds, and then I had a week to reflect and sit and watch YouTube videos on how people started theirs, and they're like, you need to have a good podcast name, like you need to have this, and you need to make sure everything's well thought out, and you need to know what your 30th episode is going to be. And I started bugging myself out, but then my mic came, and I was like, you know what? We're just going to film today. Today, my mic came about an hour ago, and I'm filming this first episode right now because I was too excited, and I didn't want to overthink it all night. So that is my first topic that I want to talk about, is if you want to start something, go for it, do it, and then you can just fix along the way. Because if you don't, you're going to overthink it. And we don't want to do that. So the premise of this podcast is life advice. I also am 22, so I don't have that much life advice to give besides the things that I go through. So we're going to talk about the things that I go through. We're going to talk about friendships, partying, relationships. What else do you do in your 20s? I don't know. Work, careers. Careers is a big thing that we're going to be talking about. I want to have different guests in their 20s. So a lot of it is going to be my friends, but if anyone is in their 20s and they want to come on this podcast, or even in their 30s, I feel like that'd be cool just to get that perspective, or 40s, 50s, I don't care. We're going to have a bunch of people come on so we can see different perspectives on navigating through life, because this time period is supposed to be, I feel like, I don't know if I'm the only one romanticizing this time period, but I do see this a lot because all of my friends are like, it's not that deep, because it's not that deep. But I guess because I see on my TikTok all the time, there's two different sides. So there's the side that's like, your 20s are the best parts of your life. Like, you need to go out and you need to live it, and you need to stop worrying about anything else. And then there's the other side of people who are like, you need to stop doing what everyone else is doing. Sit down, grind, stay at home, work on your career. And it's like, which one am I supposed to do? Because I don't know. I am someone that, like I said before, I'm very impulsive, and with impulsiveness comes so many thoughts and so many career thoughts. And I quit my 9 to 5. I quit my 9 to 5 the day, so I put in my 2 weeks so I could end the day that I graduated, which everything kind of changed very quickly. I don't know why I do these things to myself. Maybe it's just for the plot. I don't know. But I quit my 9 to 5 the day that I graduated was my last day, and I was like, holy shit, like, this is awesome. I've worked for the entire last senior year of school. So I was like, I'm completely done school. I don't have to worry about homework. I don't have to worry about working. And so I'm just free, and I have all this time to do whatever I want. And then it came to a point where I feel like I had way too much independence. I went through a midlife crisis at 22 years old. I was just very confused, and I had, okay, for me, a day is about, how do I say this? For me, like, time is very short. Like, if I needed to take a day to think about something, a day for me is 30 minutes. So I was just like self-reflecting, and this all happened. I graduated in May, so it's been a month. It's only been a month, guys. It's been a month, and I have gone through I want to be a full-time influencer. I want to be a full-time podcaster. I want to be a full-time business owner. I want to do this. Or maybe I want to work at a coffee shop. These are thoughts that I've had within the last probably 5 days. Crazy. And I did start my influencer account, and here I am with the podcast. But I feel like I kind of panicked because everyone kind of knows what they want to do. I feel like the dreaded question when you graduate, I got this so many times. Any parent that I see, they're just like, oh my God, congrats on graduating. What's your plan now? And it's like, I don't know at all what my plan is. And if I did, I probably would be less freaked out. I would have it all figured out. But I feel like a lot of people are in my shoes where it's like life kind of changes. I've talked to a lot of people. My one friend Amy, she graduated a year before me, and I was talking to her about this midlife crisis that I had, and she was like, girl, everyone has it post-grad. So I'm like, why don't we just talk about it? Because I feel like this is a time period where it's nice to have other people going through the same things, because it can seem like everyone knows what they're doing when you ask them, what's your plan? And they're like, I'm going to grad school, or I have this full-time job lined up and all this stuff. But a lot of the times people don't really have it figured out, and they just figure it out on the way. So if you are someone that kind of knows what they want to do or have no idea, I want this podcast to be security for you to know that you're still very young and we have so much time. We have so much time. Like, yes, this is the time period where people are going to start getting married. I want to have people who are getting engaged on this podcast. I want to see a bunch of different perspectives, because there's people that are in completely different phases of their life at 22. So I feel like it'd be cool to see what other people are doing, and maybe you can get ideas from these guests to see what you want to do, or maybe you could just listen and feel a little bit better and a little bit at ease, because you may feel overwhelmed or stressed about your career, and that's totally okay, because I feel like people have ideas, but no one has it figured out at 22. I mean, some people do, but it's okay if you don't. And we're just going to talk about it, because I feel like you could go through so many things at such a young age and just kind of like freak yourself out. But we are young. That is why I kind of surrounded this podcast around your 20s. This is the discovery phase. A lot of people my age only look forward to the weekends. And it's like, why do we do this? Because every single day is awesome. You can do so much in a day. Like I said, my day is 30 minutes long. I feel like we are so stuck in this mindset of you work, you grind, and then you jump into the weekend, have that 2-day break, and then you jump right back into it. And it's like, yes, that is kind of what you have to do if you work a 9 to 5 and you work 5 days a week and then you get those 2 days of rest, but it doesn't have to be like that. I feel like you can do so much in a day. You can work on so many things in one day, even if you have work. I know that some people may feel busy, but I feel like your 20s is where you can connect with so many people. If you don't like going out, it's fine. I am not saying you need to party so you can meet all these people, but it's like, even doing things outside of just work, sleep, eat, repeat. Instead of doing just that, I don't know, go for a walk or go to the gym, or, go places and try and meet new people. Because I feel like once we're out of this 20s phase, it gets a lot harder to network with new people and meet new people, because now you're fully settled in. Now you have your career. Now you have your job. There's so much pressure in our 20s to just settle down and find your career and just work towards it, which I think you should work towards your career every single day. But I also think that in this time period, you need to be putting yourself out there, trying new things. Maybe try a yoga class. I went to yoga and it has changed my life forever. Thank you, Victoria, my friend, for recommending me to go because I've met so many cool people from yoga. I've literally entered a whole new world just by going to yoga. We need to start doing these things that get us out of our comfort zone and that really start helping us discover what we want to be, because you may have your mind set up and that's completely fine because you know what you want to do, and that's really cool. But also, we're in our 20s and you can do whatever you want. You are literally in charge of your life. If you want to go to a Zumba class, go. There's so much time in your 20s to just do whatever you want. Go out, meet new people, even if it's at a bar. Go out, talk to new people, see what people are up to, socialize. If you don't like the bar setting or going out setting, try things like I said, like yoga classes, or you could just go to the gym, or, do things that are not just your career related. And I feel like you'll get so many ideas and you'll be inspired. And this is a time period where you have time to go and do fun things and meet new people and try out new things. And it may seem like you don't. And I know so many friends of mine that are working full-time jobs where it's really hard to do that. But at the same time, I feel like for the people that are lost or they're very scared that they don't have everything figured out, my advice to you would just to be try different things, start putting yourself out there. This is a time period where we can go out and we can do fun things and we can take control of our lives, because once we're 40 and we're settled in with kids and we have our house and we're all done and happy and all of that, we're going to feel so rewarded because we tried to discover who we are at a younger age. That's my advice for our 20s is I want to be able to meet new people. I want to talk about new things. I want to learn and grow. And I feel like there's this whole stigma that we need to have it figured out or else we're going to have a shitty future, but it's just not like that. Everything happens for a reason, and something that I've learned, because like I said, I have a lot of time to self-reflect. I have a lot of time to myself recently. I feel like I just hang out with myself so much, and I've learned a lot in these last couple weeks after graduating and not having that much to do. Where was I going with this? Guys, I just I just went off topic and I lost my train of thought, what I was going to say. So I had to listen back to the podcast to see what I was talking about. But something that I learned, and I'll probably leave you guys with this because I feel like this is getting kind of long. I have two things I need to leave you with. The first thing is that you are in control of your life. You could do whatever you want. You can literally change anything that you wanted tomorrow. Some may be harder because if you don't like your job, maybe it's a little hard to just be like, I quit tomorrow, but you can think about it and you can start making plans to do that. You can do anything you want. You can change your life within a day. You can make decisions for yourself, but we need to keep in mind, this is something that I've learned myself, is that you don't have to take control of everything in your life. You don't have to force things to happen, because at the end of the day, this is a mindset that I feel like we need to switch to. At the end of the day, everything works out for you. This is like an affirmation. Even if you don't believe in this, just have this mindset of everything works out for me anyways. So I don't need to force myself to take control of every little micro thing in my life, because I have trust that everything's going to work out in the end anyways. Obviously, it's probably not going to work out that well if I'm just sitting around, but if you take time out of your day every single day to work on your career and to work on what you actually want to be, it's going to happen. Everything works out for a reason and everything happens for a reason. So if you really have a dream and you really want to do something, work towards it. Even if it's a couple minutes a day, literally just take time out of your days, even if you have a full-time job and you're doing something that you don't really like right now. You have the power to change it, but also you don't have to worry and stress, because everything does work out the way that it's meant to be. You are here right now because everything panned out the way that it was supposed to pan out. Your relationships, your friendships, your career changes, all of that has worked out in your favor, and that is why you're here today. So in your 20s, if you're working towards what you want to do and you're working towards your dream, then it's going to work out. Everything is going to play out the way that it's supposed to be. Even if it doesn't pan out, the exact way that you thought it was going to be, it's still going to work out. And that's why I'm always saying, like I said in the beginning of this podcast episode, just start things and they'll work themselves out as you go. So I really want you to leave this podcast with the idea that everything is going to work out in your favor anyways. So stop doing the little micro planning. And if you have a dream and if you have something that you really want to do, but you're scared to do it because you don't know how, or you feel like you already have this career path that you changed, no. We can change our lives literally any day. We could change what we want to do. We changed our majors. I feel like a lot of people changed their majors like 10 times. I did. I was a nursing major and then I ended as a business marketing major. It's just like changing your major. You can change your major anytime and redirect your course and pivot and grow and change. So you can take control of your life, but don't take too much control. So once you take control, you work towards your dream every single day. It's going to work out. Trust in that. You don't have to go and force things to happen, because I feel like everything is going to happen in our favors. And that's just something not only that I believe, but I've seen happen. And it does give you a sense of peace in knowing that. So this is my last thing that I want to leave you guys with. And it's a quote that I saw on TikTok that really resonated with me, because I feel like I have been doing this unintentionally. And it's so true, and it works very well. And the quote is, write down your goals and then disassociate from them by becoming them. Have a goal, have a dream, and then just stop thinking about it and stop over stressing about it and just become that person. Literally wake up every day. Say you want to be a business owner. This is just easy for me to use as an example. I promise I won't use it in all my episodes. But say you want to be a business owner, and that's your goal, and you write it down. I'm going to be a 6-figure business owner. And then start working on it, and then just put it aside, disassociate from it by becoming it. Wake up the next day and do something that a business owner would do. They would maybe work on their website, or they'd get their license, or something that they would do to start their business. And this is how you're going to get yourself to start doing something for your career, and you're going to get out of the planning stage and actually start doing it, is when you just become the person that you want to be. Another example is, say you want to be a podcaster. Say you want to be a podcaster, and you're going to write down your goal. I want to be a full-time podcaster. You're going to put that aside, and then the next day, you're going to do something that a full-time podcaster would do. They would script their episodes. And that's how you get yourself to start doing stuff. So the whole purpose of this episode is to stop worrying and stop stressing about your career just because it seems like everyone else has it figured out. No one has it figured out. And we'll see that in episodes with other people, and sometimes it'll just be myself, and I'll just be ranting about how I have absolutely nothing figured out some days and how I have everything set some other days. So we're going to stop stressing. We're going to work towards our careers, better ourselves, grow, meet new people, learn new things, and it's going to be a really fun time period in our lives. And I can't wait to look back at this podcast and see everyone before they enter that stage of 30, where we start to have it all figured out and we start to all settle down and maybe talk to each other less. I hope not, because I love all my friends and I love everyone in my life right now. So I hope that no one talks to me less. But it just happens when we grow older. So I'm excited to have this podcast where we can just look back and see ourselves when we have absolutely nothing figured out, and just really reflect on this time period and see how we got towards our goals, because that's the ultimate thing at the end of the day, is to reach our goals. So we are going to become our goals and reach them. And I'm going to post every single Tuesday at 8 a.m. because, like I said, we're not living for just the weekends anymore. We are going to wake up on a Tuesday and be excited because Ariana's podcast is out, and we can listen to it on our drive to work, or we can also just listen to it when we first wake up, or we can listen to it on a Wednesday night. And, do little things in your day that are exciting and that are working towards your goals and that get you to meet new people and get you to do new things. So on your Tuesdays, I got you. And I know that Tuesdays are some of the most boring days for some people because it's like Monday, you just start the week. Wednesday is hump day. Thursday, you're one day away from the weekend. The weekend, everyone loves. But a Tuesday, I feel like no one talks about a Tuesday. So that's why I got you, and I got something to brighten your days and make your days exciting. And that is this podcast. So I will see you guys next Tuesday at 8 a.m. Thank you for listening. Make sure that you follow my new Instagram account. If you want to watch it on video, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I also am on Spotify, Google Play, and I don't know what the other hosting platform is, but once I do, I have it all situated, and we will correct course next week after I put out this episode because I probably will have a lot of mistakes that I need to work on. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a really great day. Bye.